Hello, I'm Christopher Sweeney and I'm in a very leafy part of London. This building is where rehearsals take place for the London Gay Men's Chorus.
Just gently to warm your voice up.
So Mark, you're the chairman of the chorus. How did it all start?
So we actually originated 26 years ago. So it was 9 friends came together and they sung outside Angel Tube Station to raise money for Terence Higgins Trust on World AIDS Day. And looking back, you kind of realise how much of a brave step it is to sing and be an outwardly gay man on a street in London 26 years ago.
Yeah.
One of those members are actually still with us today.
Really?
26 years on, yeah.
Is it still only gay men?
So we are the London Gay Men's Chorus, so you could imagine we attract much more gay men than any other type of singer.
Yes.
We're a community chorus, so nobody auditions to be in the chorus. Anybody who wants to join, as long as they align with what we're trying to achieve, with what our values and our mission is, they're welcome.
So how did you become involved?
I've always been a shower singer. My audience loved me. They were all in my head, but they loved me.
Standing ovations?
All the time.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure what that means actually in a shower. I don't know what changed, and I suddenly said, I'm bored of doing this in the shower. I really want to sing. And I joined a choir in Hertfordshire where I live, and I won't mention the name of the choir, so I can say it was the dullest thing I've ever done. And there just wasn't that passion and that spirit there for singing. It was sort of a purely social thing to almost get out the house.
Yeah.
And I know I didn't want that.
Yeah.
So we looked around lots of different choruses and stumbled across the LGMC, and I think from that first YouTube video, I knew that was the enthusiasm, that was the joy I can see them experiencing that I'm looking for from singing.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The first time I came through the doors, I was absolutely petrified. I think at least 3 times during that evening I was ready to run away. And it was a real moment for me to realise of this self-destruction that I carry, that I think a lot of people do. That self-destruction of you're not good enough for this, of oh, what are you doing, don't be foolish, you'll be happier at home with a cup of tea and watching a film. And I thought, no, I'm going to really put myself out there. If after 3 weeks I don't like it, I can still walk away. There's no reason to run away now and sabotage it.
I think we are all so fundamentally scared of stuff like this, and I just wonder what it was that kept you.
I think I realised really quickly I was in a room full of amazing people. Everyone was so friendly, so open. All of the songs we sing are incredibly positive. They have a lot of hidden meaning, and it's not just learning to do something amazingly well. And the sound, I still now and then just stop, and it completely blows me away of what we achieve musically. But then what's behind that, you hear songs which you're familiar with, and then you suddenly have it in a setting where 200 gay men are singing it, and you suddenly hear a completely different story being told. Some of the songs, the new meaning that they take on when we have a group of people who themselves and who they're representing have been oppressed or marginalised or in some way not been allowed to be themselves. And you suddenly realise that song that you've never paid attention to is that song that really talks about a part of you. My first show with the London Gay Men's Chorus was at the Camden Roundhouse. You know, my sellout audience of 1 was myself in the shower. This is suddenly a massive venue to take on, and I remember being right at the top of the rostra, and there was a problem with the lighting because I was at the top left corner of the rostra. The lighting just cut me off, so literally nobody could see me. And you knew standing there was no light on you, nobody could see you. But for me, everyone was looking at me, and being one of over 200 men, I still felt the centre of attention, not in a good way. You know, everyone's looking at me, waiting for me to go wrong. My leg was shaking, and I suddenly forgot all the choreography, all the words. And then I just realised nobody's looking at me, waiting for me to fail. Everyone is here and bought their tickets because they want to see us do an amazing show. And the first song went, and I thought, oh, thank God that's over. We're nearing the end, it's fine. We're 1 song close to the end, and by half time I didn't want it to end. And I made it through that first show, and that's when I knew I was absolutely hooked.
Really?
At wanting to be a performer.
Do you think there's a parallel between the gay experience and singing, it being a release in some way for some of the hardship that you might have gone through growing up being different?
Yeah, so that creates a lot of situations where you're really holding back and just wanting to blend into the background. There's a lot of situations where, I really hope it doesn't come up about my sexuality, just because I can't be bothered to go through that again of explaining it. You know, as a gay man, you don't ever just come out. You come out again and again and again and again. And to avoid that, there's this element where in certain areas of my life, and I know from a lot of my friends, you just want to blend into the background and just be as completely anonymous as possible and just coast through with 10% of you showing. This is completely the opposite. This is 110% has to be laid out completely bare. If you're that one voice in 200 and you're not singing at full volume and you're not giving it everything, it's going to be lost. And we can only achieve what we do from absolute full visibility, and that's not just our performance, but what we stand for. We're not here to be hidden away. We're here. I don't remember very many positive gay male role models growing up. And to be able to become one in whatever way we make that difference, I think is a really important thing, and it's completely the opposite of what I grew up doing. I would normally be the person, if somebody ever dared throw me a birthday party, it'd be horrific. Everyone's looking at me, and I really didn't enjoy it. And now to be able to find a positive way to garner attention is a really big step change for me.
So now would you jump on the mic at your own birthday party and do a song?
Absolutely. I mean, that's more drinking than confidence, but... One of the most amazing things I get from the chorus is meeting so many people I would never have had the opportunity or the platform to meet. Our age range is astounding, from 19 to 76 years old. Of when would you ever have an arena where you can have so much in common and be so close to and interact so much with such a wide age range? Going out for a drink in Soho is terrible when you know 200 men.
Really?
Don't ever go on a date, because you will be interrupted and they will wonder who the hell you are that you keep jumping into these people that you know.
That's funny.
And you can end up just on a random night going for a quiet drink and you're suddenly surrounded, and now and then I stop and think I'm surrounded by 48-year-old doctor, a 60-year-old retired man, a 19-year-old lawyer or a legal person. I could never cultivate this friendship group if I tried.
Do you think there's something specifically London about it as well?
I think there's something about London that makes the chorus a bit more special for us. There's not really a place to meet and make gay friends in London. So I can't go out to bars because then you're there to pick up. So of course everyone's on guard thinking, do I want to sleep with you or not? Not do I want to be your friend or not?
Yes.
You can't go and try and meet friends in parks because apparently there are laws against that. And again, people think the same thing.
You can get round those.
So it's really difficult to think, where do you go if you just want a collection of gay friends, but you don't want to drink, you don't want to club and party all night. And London, everyone says, can be a really lonely place. And I can't think of anywhere I could make, as an adult, a new friend in such a healthy way.
What's been your highest memory? That can be for you personally or for the chorus in general.
We worked on a project called The Shame Chorus, which some psychologists interviewed a number of us about our experiences as gay men. They sort of flowed with whatever our experiences were and developed into a narrative that was passed to a composer, who then created a song from these interviews of our experiences as gay men. And we did quite a few different concerts, and down on the south coast, it was a non-LGBT event. It was in a very rural location, very much not our normal sort of setting for a large gay chorus. And they sung these songs, and afterwards a woman came up to them in tears and said, "Thank you so much for singing that. I finally understand my son." And it turned out a year earlier her son had committed suicide because he was gay and couldn't cope. And through hearing the songs, she finally understood what he was going through that led him to that. It wasn't her and it wasn't her family, it wasn't that guilt that she had. She finally understood. And that was a really powerful moment, just to remind us of, it's not just singing and putting on a great show, it's a real insight into a very alien part of society for a lot of people, of not knowing gay society, not knowing who gay men are or what we go through.
If you had to describe being in the chorus for you in 3 words, what would you say?
I think encouraging, definitely. It's encouraged a lot of change in me and a lot of development. Challenging. It's a hell of a challenge. Personally, professionally, artistically, it's challenging. And at the risk of sounding really cheesy, just joyous. It's just the joy it brings is indescribable.